Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today's Sunday, it's Thanksgiving Day long weekend, and I'm currently in my room at home. I've been home for the last couple days. Unexpectedly, I didn't expect to come home until like tonight and then go home tomorrow, Monday, but I came home yesterday and I've been spending a lot of time with the family. It's been really nice. I did bring my tripod, so I'm going to be holding my camera. And this is going to be a talking video and all about me, introduction, sort of my story video, just so you guys get a really clear idea of who I am and where the future of this channel is going to go, the kind of content that you should be expecting from me, and just so you guys have a really good understanding of who I am and what my values are, what my goals are, and just trying to be the most true and authentic version of myself I can possibly be. What was I gonna say? I've been trying to film this video for the last 3 weeks. I just haven't had the time, or I've been trying to make it perfect, and I know it's not going to be perfect, so I just need to get out and say it. And I mean, yeah, nobody's perfect, right? So I do have a script here in front of me. I have quite a lot that I want to get through. My mom just called me for dinner, so I might have to pause this and come back to it. But yeah, where do I even start? I don't know if this is like a common theme, but whenever I get asked the question, you know, Erin, like, who are you? Can you give us, like, share an interesting fact about yourself? I always like blank, and I always like dread that question because I think to myself, like, there's really nothing out of the ordinary. I feel like I've lived a pretty like predictable life. Nothing has ever really like happened to me, or nothing really stands out. Yeah, I feel like my upbringing and where I've grown up and my family dynamic is very like normal, and from like an outsider's perspective looking in, you would probably say like I come from the picture perfect family, sort of that girl next door, we have it all figured out, but that's not the case. You never know what's going on behind closed doors. And don't get me wrong, I'm completely and utterly grateful for everything that my parents have ever done to, you know, support me. And I know like we have a really great relationship, and I know I can go to them about everything, but it hasn't always been that way. We've had our ups and downs. We've really had to like, I don't know, I feel like I've had to like open up their minds about a lot of things, but they've also taught me everything, and I wouldn't be where I am without them. But we're gonna cut this short. I'm gonna go eat and then we'll continue filming this. Okay, sorry about that. I am back. Okay, let's just dive into a little bit about my life growing up and where I come from. So I'm from Caledonia, which is about an hour outside of Toronto. Small town. Grew up sort of with like the same people, went to the same elementary school, same high school. Caledonia has like one high school, and pretty much like, yeah, from a young age, oh no, so sorry, like just being from a small town in general, I feel like it's a lot more traditional like ways of thinking, and a little bit more like conservative. So you're expected to attend high school, graduate high school, go to post-secondary, whether that's college or university, graduate from there, find yourself like a stable full-time career that can sustain you for like your whole life, and then end up retiring and sort of like enjoying your retirement in your golden years. Whereas like for me, I feel like what's like set me apart from a lot of the people that I've grown up with, or like the people from my town, is just like my ability to really dream big. I always kind of knew from like a young age that I was just like destined for greater things, or like like unconventional sort of things, that my dreams and my aspirations were not going to be fulfilled staying in Caledonia for long, and that I needed to get out, I needed to experience life, and that's where I was going to find that like fulfillment and that sort of sense of like purpose in my life. But at the same time I just felt so like boggled down, and all of my friends, you know, were going to university, and I felt like that was just the path that I should sort of go on as well, because my parents, not that they had pressured me, but like I said, it's just sort of what was instilled in me at a young age. Like that's kind of, I didn't have a choice. That's just kind of, if I had the grades and my parents had put money aside for me to go to school, that's just what I was gonna do. And I'd always loved modeling. I had always loved traveling. I'd always loved, like, I don't know, even just like that YouTube sort of like influencer mentality, just like exploring life. And I don't know, that's what I wanted, but I kind of put it on the back burner and thought to myself, I don't have what it takes. It's not possible for somebody like me from a small town, not possible for somebody like me, like, who isn't popular or beautiful enough. So I was like, okay, I'll go to school. That's what everyone else is doing. I'll just follow in their footsteps. I don't want to disappoint my parents. I don't want to disappoint, you know, my family. So that's what I did. And I mean, I did those 3 years at university, and it wasn't easy. I definitely struggled a lot while I was away. I've talked to so many people that are still currently in school, and they are having the time of their lives. It's like a total blast. And I think to myself, those were some really rough years, like just totally out of my element. I thought that I was just a little baby fish in a big pond, and I didn't ask for help when I needed it. And I ended up graduating a year earlier than everyone else because I did like a 3-year program. Thankfully, I was able to like get out and actually just like experience some things and get some hand-on experience, which I feel like was a lot better for me than sitting in a classroom where I felt like I didn't necessarily fit in. So when I had graduated, I started working full-time in a field, a profession that I didn't really see myself in excelling, or at least like not pursuing for the rest of my life. Yes, it was paying my bills and I was able to save money, but at the end of the day, it's not what was like driving me, or that wasn't what was like lighting that fire beneath me. And I would come home crying from work every single day. I would go to work crying every single day, just asking myself, like, what is the purpose of my life if I'm not living for myself? Like, it was really sad. I remember I would just come home and like it would be the dead of winter, and I would just be like laying in this bed and crying and like listening to sad music, and just like didn't want to be around anybody. And and then the pandemic hit, and I mean, I had always admired the city. I just love that hustle bustle lifestyle, the fast pace, always having something going on, being able to like check out new restaurants or go see shows like whenever you want. And even before I'd gone into high school, I knew that Toronto was sort of where all the opportunities were, and if I wanted to pursue modeling or try to like go after that, I needed to be in Toronto. So the pandemic hit and I took some time off work, well, because we had been laid off, and I really sat down and like reevaluated and thought to myself, okay, Erin, like when things do settle and go back to normal, do I want to continue living this sort of lifestyle, getting up and being in this like dreadful routine where I'm waking up and I'm just like so like depressed, and then going and working long days where I'm being taken advantage of. I'm not shown any sort of appreciation. I'm just working for somebody else and not getting any sort of like, I just wasn't happy. I thought to myself, why am I putting all this time and energy and effort into making somebody else like become so profitable when he's, not gonna lie, he was a total dick. So pandemic hit, and that's when I was like, I need a change. I'm going to do whatever I possibly can to try to get out of here and get into Toronto. So on all my days off, I would go into the city and I would look for apartments. I would look for like go for job interviews, or I would meet with modeling agencies, just so that I could kind of set like a foundation for myself and have like a plan set out in place for when I did move out. And eventually things started to like fall into place, and they were all aligning, and I had a job lined up, I had an apartment found that I absolutely loved, and I'd signed with an agency. And so when I told my parents what I had planned, they shut me down right away. They were like, absolutely no way, not in the middle of a pandemic, are you crazy? Like, I was doing like the opposite of what everybody else in my age group was doing. Most people who had been in Toronto were moving home and living with their family, but I don't know, I saw it as an opportunity that I couldn't just sit around and wait for life to pass me by. I needed to take control. I needed to take matters into my own hands, because you only have one life. You never know when it's your time, and I had felt like a calling, and that's where I needed to be. So I talked to them about it, and I finally was able to convince them, and I got them on my side, and we were able to make it work. And now I've been in Toronto the last 6 or 7 months, and I've honestly never been happier. I have so much like freedom, and I'm very independent, and I am just like, I totally am in awe of just like how much I've grown, and I'm so proud of myself. But yeah, a quote that I really like is, aim for the stars, if you fail you'll land on the moon. And yeah, like I was saying, I feel like I've grown in more ways than I could have ever imagined. I've definitely challenged myself in every single possible way, and it hasn't been easy at all. I mean, I'm not even close to like where I want to be either, but at least now I can say that I've found purpose in life. I've found meaning, and I know what my next steps are, and nothing is impossible. You have to leave a little bit of room in your heart for the unimaginable, and I feel like I've always done that. All of my dreams and my whole life growing up, I've thought of things that are very unimaginable, and people will try to bring me back down to reality and tell me that it's not possible, but I don't settle for less than that. And I mean, it's gotten to me where I am now, and like I said, I'm very proud of myself. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited now to wake up every single day, because I just feel like there's so much in store for me, and there's always something to be excited about, and there's just like so much goodness, and we are just so like, I'm so thankful to be on this earth, and there's just so much to be thankful for. And I guess honestly the theme of this video is just being grateful and thankful and blessed, and for everything that we have and everything that we are. And it's Thanksgiving weekend, so it's really coming full circle now. And honestly, I think my true calling in life is just to spread happiness and love, be that little light for people in this really dark and scary world at times. There is so much hatred and so much just like despair and so much sadness that's going on around us, and it's really easy to get caught up in all of it and think to ourselves like, what kind of role do I have to play? Do you think individual action can even really make a difference? But I 100% think it does, and it all starts with yourself and having a positive outlook and being happy and just spreading that to others. Even a smile can brighten somebody's day, right? Or a compliment, or going out of your way. The small gestures all mean something, and not looking at it for validation, or you're not doing it because you want this like immediate gratification. You're doing it out of the goodness of your heart, because you know that other people need it. So that's kind of what my calling is, and people have different callings. Your calling could be a doctor, your calling could be to travel, your calling could be to learn 10 languages. It doesn't matter what it is, but don't stop until you really figure it out. And it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be something grand and huge. It could just be the smallest of things. And I promise you, we all do have a purpose on this earth. We were all put here for something, and you will figure it out eventually. And there's no need to rush, and don't put too much pressure on yourself, and just keep an open mind, because eventually it will happen for you. So, a little story now about just like where I find my inspiration from, and who's kind of helped me get to where I am today. Is I think the people that inspire me most are the people that challenge me and definitely make me want to become a better person. But my greatest role model of all time is my dad, 100%. He didn't really have the greatest childhood growing up. His parents separated at a young age, and he kind of had to take on that like father-like role. He, you know, wasn't only in school, but he was working 2 or 3 part-time jobs to help my grandma pay the rent. I know he went out and bought my grandma like a dishwasher for her birthday the one year. He was like extremely hardworking, but at the same time he was like really well known around town as the popular party guy, and literally everywhere my dad went people would flock. Like he was just this like radiant, outgoing, charismatic and funny guy that everybody just wanted to be around. And obviously, like, he wasn't the perfect golden child either. He makes mistakes, and I know he has definitely so many stories that he could tell me that would just make your head spin, because he was a wild guy. But when he was about my age, like 21 or 22, he actually moved to California to live and work for his uncle. This was completely all under the table. He did it illegally. He was living out of his car selling pots and pans, and he had traveled all across California and Oklahoma and Texas, and again, like, the stories that he has to tell are like, I swear he needs to write a book, because it's absolutely insane, the sort of like double life that he's lived. And I think that's where I get my adventurous side, my like eagerness for like just exploring the world and not living with any sort of regrets or not living with fear, because he did something that is just like so cool to me. And I know that he faced a lot of challenges and so many obstacles while he was there, but he always managed to push through. He always managed to make the best out of every single situation. And it's definitely shaped him into who he is today. And like I said, he's very like selfless and wise. He's a big family man now, and I really hope that one day he can understand just how much of an impact his life and his stories have had on me, because I aspire to be like him one day. And that's why I feel like California is like literally so close to home for me, and that's where I need to go, because I just feel like that place is what made him who he is. And I guess not completely, but it did have such a huge role in his life, and there's nobody quite like my dad, and I just love him so much. But okay, we're already 15 minutes in, and I'm almost finished now. But one of my greatest takeaways, I think, and how I try to live my life on a daily basis, is just like through my ability to acknowledge my privilege and appreciate all that I have received in my life, regardless if it's something that I worked for or not, big or small. To show gratitude to those who have supported me along my journey. I mean, it hasn't always been smooth sailing, and it's important not to judge a book by its cover, because we are still growing, we are still discovering about ourselves every single day, and it's important to give one another grace. This world is a crazy place that we live in, and we have so many standards and expectations that we put on ourselves, but just to learn and grow and be okay with making those mistakes and taking those leaps of faith, because that's how you learn and that is how you grow at the end of the day. And knowing that life will always throw you curveballs, but it's about how we decide to react and respond. That's most important. A little bit about just like where I see myself in the next few years, because when someone asks me that really scary, okay, like, what's your 5-year plan, or where do you see yourself in 5 years, I always say I don't even know where I see myself next week. But now, like, after moving out on my own and taking modeling seriously and being in Istanbul and everything, and just seeing how the rest of the world, not the rest of the world, but how, I don't know, modeling and is in different places, I would say that yeah, this trip, honestly, Istanbul did give me a whole new perspective on life and modeling in the fashion industry, and how I came to this realization while I was away that I don't fit that typical mold of a model. If I wanted to go to Milan or if I wanted to go to Paris, I probably would be turned away because I'm not quite tall enough, I'm not skinny enough. But I feel like it's honestly a very unhealthy lifestyle that they have you living to meet these specific measurements, to meet these requirements, and that's not really something I want to be a part of. Not to say I wouldn't want to love to go travel there and model there, but I would want to do it on my own terms, and I would want to be able to be in my own skin and not be judged for what I look like. But modeling is so backwards and very deep. What's the opposite word of progressive? I don't know, but I feel like there are so many steps behind the rest of the world. Honestly, we're becoming so much more accepting of those around us and people's identity and their beliefs and all of that stuff, and modeling is still so cookie cutter, having to look a specific way and having to talk a specific way and present yourself in a specific way. So that's why I don't see myself going that route, whereas I think I just want to be able to be 100% my true self, be that role model, set an example for other young men, other young women to fully be able to accept themselves. And I've always been in that weird in-between where, again, I'm not tall enough for a runway, I'm not skinny enough for this, or I've been turned away from so many agencies because I'm commercial. I have a great smile, but that's not what I'm interested in. Like, I love the high fashion, I love runway, like that's what is, when I think of modeling, that's what I think of. So just having to accept the fact that I don't fit that mold has been tricky, but at the same time, like, I'm not going to sacrifice who I am. I'm not going to try to pretend to be somebody I'm not. And I think that this whole like last 6 to 7 months that I've been living on my own, and even more, I guess, in the last 3 months since doing this whole self-development series or whatever, I've learned that I want to become a role model, more than just a model, more than just a pretty face, but somebody that puts the planet, that puts others first, and promotes brands, promotes clients and companies that have these sort of values at their forefront and care about doing things ethically and using diverse and inclusive models to sort of spread that message. But yeah, just one side note, like when I was talking about going and meeting with agencies, so many times I had been like not even asked questions about myself. It was just like looking up and down, evaluating your body, seeing if you make the cut, whereas like they don't even care about your personality or your talents or abilities or your skills or your hobbies. They just care about what's on the outside, and it's so hard for me to wrap my head around it. But that's just a little bit about the modeling thing. In Istanbul, to make it short and sweet, like while I was there for the 2 months, I had like this epiphany, this like moment of sudden and great revelation or realization that I may be a model, but I'm a model with a purpose. I'm a model with a mission, that's to collaborate with brands and companies that have the best intentions, and that is sustainability, that's regenerative, that's biodiversity and like biodegradable, and just really going back to our roots and finding value in our clothes and who's making them and where they're coming. Okay, LOL, it's the next day. I fell asleep last night actually going back and watching the footage, the introduction to the video, but I was really tired, so I closed my eyes for like 20 minutes or so and I fell asleep while watching the video back, but that's okay. I just wanted to film a conclusion quickly to the end of this video, and let you know why I felt the need to share my life story, all of my struggles that I've been through, and where I see myself headed in the future, because you guys mean so much to me and I cherish every single one of you that watch my videos, and I just want it to be very transparent, and I want you to know what you're subscribed to and what you should expect to see from me. So pretty much after everything that I had been through within the last 7-8 months or so, being in Toronto through the middle of a pandemic, living on my own, moving to Istanbul, like doing all that stuff. I feel like I have this responsibility to just share my sort of experiences, what I've been through, to use my platform not only as a model, but you know, just as a role model, as somebody that you can kind of look up to and you can relate to, you can resonate with, and maybe you've been through similar things that I have been through and you know where I'm coming from. But just to use my platform like YouTube, my Instagram, to be a safe and comfortable place where I can talk about the issues and things that matter most to me, take everything that I've learned while I was away, and especially in Istanbul, how I had gotten just a whole new perspective on life and how I just need to be a lot more grateful and blessed for everything that I have. I mean, I have a beautiful home, my parents are very supportive, a great family, great friends to rely on, and that's what this weekend's all about. It's just remembering where you come from and enjoying the journey. It's more about the journey than it is the destination a lot of the times. So that's why I felt like it was necessary for me to share. I might not have thousands of followers, but I feel like the people that do follow me, they all mean something to me, and I've gone through and I've unfollowed a lot of the negativity or the people that don't like kind of light me up, people that kind of bring me down, I ended up unfollowing. So people on my Instagram and people on my YouTube, I know care about what I have to say, and I feel like I can be myself 100% around you guys. So what else did I want to say? I guess that's pretty much everything. I also just want to let you guys know that if at any point you think to yourselves you're not worthy enough, maybe you're not smart enough, you're not beautiful enough, you don't have this, you don't have that, to just remember that you do have it inside you. We all have it within. To rewrite our narratives, to be who it is that we want to become, that it doesn't matter what anybody else has to say, just to stay true to yourself and do what it is that makes you happy. Sorry, that's my brother leaving. And that, of course, life is going to get in the way at times, and it makes, like, you know, society makes us feel like we have to have everything figured out at such a young age, but that's just not the case. Nobody has it figured out, and if they tell you that they have it figured out, they're lying. Honestly, I've just learned how important it is to go with the wave, ride the wave, go with the flow. Life will sort itself out, but just to, again, remember how far you've come, to celebrate those small things in life, and that's what I think is most important. I honestly just really want to be able to look back at my life and be proud of the legacy that I'm going to leave behind, and the sort of impact I've had on those around me. Again, even if it's just a small impact, that's more than enough. So I just want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have questions, you can obviously leave them down in the comments below. I really hope that you guys have a really good sense of who I am and where the future of this channel is headed, because I want to provide you with some like really amazing videos and content that maybe you haven't seen on YouTube. Like, I'm very interested to share some really cool insights and fun videos, ideas that I haven't really seen anybody else do before. Hello?
This means hers.
Oh. But thank you so much for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys in the next one.